March 1st, 2026, Taras Shmut, founder of Come Back Alive, Ukraine's largest crowdfunding organization, announced, "For first time in many months, we've begun to liberate more territories than we're losing. Russia lost the battle for winter." Russia lost. After 1 year grinding forward, after 1.2 million casualties, after capturing Pokrovsk, advancing 70 meters daily, slower than World War I's Battle of Somme, Ukrainian paratroopers expelled Russian forces from Dnipropetrovsk region. The offensive Russia promised would break Ukrainian lines before spring failed. The winter offensive Putin demanded stalled at catastrophic cost, achieving nothing strategically. Here's what we're covering. First, how Russia's 15 to 70 meter daily advances over an entire year cost 1.2 million casualties, achieving less territorial gain than Ukraine took in single week during Kharkiv counteroffensive. Second, the Dnipropetrovsk victory, where Ukrainian forces reversed Russian penetration through combined drone, artillery, infantry operations Russia cannot counter. Third, why Russia's Pyrrhic winter offensive proves Ukraine's attritional strategy works, bleeding Russian manpower faster than Moscow replaces losses while defending strategically worthless terrain. If you want to understand how Ukraine turned Russia's numerical superiority into strategic liability through forcing attacks on prepared positions, costing catastrophic casualties for minimal gains, hit subscribe. Let's establish what Russia attempted. According to multiple intelligence assessments, Russia committed reserve formations, newly mobilized troops, North Korean infantry, redeployed units from other fronts, attempting breakthrough offensive during winter months when frozen ground enables mechanized maneuver. The objective? Capture strategically significant Ukrainian positions before spring thaw limits mobility and before Western military aid packages arrive, enabling Ukrainian counteroffensive. According to Russian military bloggers, Moscow aimed severing Ukrainian supply lines to eastern positions, potentially encircling Ukrainian forces, forcing negotiations from position of strength. The result? Catastrophic failure at unimaginable cost. According to Taras Shmut's March 1st statement, Russia lost the battle for winter. Think about that assessment. Ukraine's largest military crowdfunding organization, intimately connected with frontline units, receiving real-time operational reports, declaring Russia's winter offensive categorically failed. But the territorial math reveals Russia's Pyrrhic victory transformed into strategic defeat. According to ISW analysis, Russian forces advanced at rates between 15 to 70 meters per day throughout winter months in contested areas like Pokrovsk. 70 meters per day. That's not breakthrough, that's World War I trench warfare. For comparison, Battle of Somme, July to November 1916, saw British forces advancing approximately 100 meters daily at cost of 600,000 casualties. Russia's achieving slower progress at potentially higher casualty rates in 2026 than British did with 1916 technology. The Pokrovsk example crystallizes Russia's nightmare. According to reporting, Russian forces besieging Pokrovsk for over 1 year, averaging 70-meter daily advance. Simple mathematics. 365 days times 70 meters equals 25.5 kilometers total advance annually. That's 15.8 miles. After year-long siege consuming massive resources. Compare this to Ukrainian Kharkiv counteroffensive September 2022. Ukrainian forces liberated approximately 3,000 square kilometers, over 1,000 square miles, within 1 week. Russia's taking 1 year achieving what Ukraine accomplished in days during favorable conditions. But territorial measurement understates Russia's catastrophe. The casualty figures reveal unsustainable attrition. According to UK Ministry of Defense assessments, December 2025, cumulative Russian casualties since February 2022 exceeded 1.2 million killed and wounded combined. 1.2 million. That's larger than standing armies of France, Germany, UK combined. According to British intelligence, Russia suffering average 1,000 casualties daily throughout 2025. Some particularly intense days saw casualties exceeding 2,000. Think about operational mathematics. Russia mobilized approximately 300,000 troops September 2022, another 300,000 through subsequent waves. Total mobilization, roughly 600,000. Yet casualties exceed 1.2 million. The gap reveals Russia's burning through personnel faster than mobilization replaces, creating a death spiral where units become increasingly composed of poorly trained, poorly motivated conscripts thrown into combat without adequate preparation. The North Korean deployment exemplifies desperation. According to Western intelligence assessments, Russia received approximately 12,000 North Korean troops deployed in Kursk region. The soldiers, lacking modern combat experience, unfamiliar with terrain, unable to communicating effectively with Russian commanders due to language barriers, suffered catastrophic casualties within weeks of deployment. Ukrainian forces released drone footage showing North Korean infantry advancing in massed formations, World War II-style human wave attacks, getting decimated by Ukrainian artillery, drones, small arms fire. The tactics reflected North Korea's outdated military doctrine combined with Russian desperation, throwing available forces at Ukrainian positions regardless of casualties. But even with North Korean reinforcements, Russian offensive capability degraded throughout winter. According to ISW, Russian forces increasingly relying on infantry assaults with minimal armored support, consequence of unsustainable vehicle losses forcing Russia to husband remaining mechanized assets rather than risking them in breakthrough attempts. Infantry assaults without armor support. That's admission Russia cannot sustain mechanized warfare. Tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, armored personnel carriers, all being destroyed faster than Russian industry replaces them despite mobilizing civilian production. The result? Russian infantry attacking on foot against Ukrainian positions defended by artillery, drones, machine guns, anti-tank weapons. The casualty ratios favor Ukraine catastrophically. But Ukraine didn't just defend, they reversed Russian penetrations. According to Taras Shmut's March 1st statement, Ukrainian paratroopers expelled Russian forces from Dnipropetrovsk region, marking first significant territorial liberation in months. The operational significance exceeds territorial gain. Dnipropetrovsk region borders Donetsk, serving as Russian staging area for attacks toward Pokrovsk and other contested areas. Ukrainian forces eliminating Russian presence in Dnipropetrovsk removes forward positions Russia used launching attacks, forces Russian logistics extending farther, eliminates observation posts Russia employed directing artillery. The tactical execution demonstrated Ukrainian combined arms mastery. According to reporting, Ukrainian forces employed reconnaissance drones identifying Russian positions, troop concentrations, supply routes creating comprehensive intelligence picture. Artillery strikes targeting Russian command posts, ammunition depots, vehicle concentrations, degrading Russian defensive capabilities before infantry assault. Infantry assaults supported by armored vehicles exploiting Russian weaknesses created by preparatory fires, advancing systematically, clearing positions. Electronic warfare disrupting Russian communications, preventing coordinated response to Ukrainian maneuvers. The operation's success proves Ukrainian forces maintain offensive capability despite defensive posture throughout winter. Russia assumed Ukrainian military exhausted from defending against relentless attacks would lack strength counterattacking. Ukrainian paratroopers proved that assumption wrong, conducting successful offensive operation, expelling Russian forces from occupied territory. The timing matters strategically. Late winter, approaching spring thaw, represents ideal moment for offensive operations. Ground remains frozen, enabling mechanized movement. Russian forces, exhausted from winter offensive, lack reserves responding to Ukrainian attacks. And spring thaw approaching means Russian forces expelled now face months before attempting reconquest through muddy terrain favoring defenders. But Ukraine's winter strategy reflected calculated approach. Trade worthless terrain for Russian casualties until attrition collapses Russian offensive capability. According to military analysts, Ukraine consciously avoided committing reserves to every Russian attack, instead defending with minimal forces sufficient slowing Russian advances while preserving strength for counteroffensives. Think about strategic calculation. Pokrovsk, the city Russia spent 1 year besieging, holds limited strategic value. It's not a major transportation hub, it's not vital industrial center, it's not irreplaceable defensive position. Ukrainian commanders recognize defending Pokrovsk to last man cost Ukrainian casualties without equivalent strategic benefit. Instead, Ukraine employed defense in depth, established defensive lines outside Pokrovsk, force Russia paying blood for every meter, retreat to next prepared defensive line before casualties become unsustainable, repeat. The approach allowed Ukrainian forces inflicting maximum casualties while preserving combat power. The artillery differential demonstrates Ukrainian advantage. According to Ukrainian military spokesman, Ukrainian forces firing significantly more artillery rounds daily than Russia, despite Russia's larger artillery fleet. The explanation? Ukrainian precision fires directed by drones achieve greater effects with fewer shells, while Russian artillery fires less accurately, consuming shells without proportional tactical gains. The drone revolution multiplied Ukrainian effectiveness. According to production reports, Ukraine manufacturing millions of FPV drones annually, creating near parity with Russian drone production despite Russia's larger industrial base. Ukrainian drones identify Russian positions, guide artillery strikes, conduct direct attacks on vehicles and infantry, provide reconnaissance enabling tactical decisions. Every Russian advance occurs under continuous Ukrainian drone surveillance, making surprise attacks nearly impossible. The result? Russian forces advancing 15 to 70 meters daily, suffering casualties NATO estimates reaching battalion-level losses, 400 to 800 troops weekly in particularly contested sectors. Ukraine trading strategically worthless kilometers for operationally crippling Russian casualties, creating exchange ratio favoring Ukraine long term. But Ukraine's winter defense aimed beyond immediate tactical success. It positioned Ukraine for spring operations when Western aid arrives and terrain favors defenders. According to reporting, multiple Western aid packages approved or pending delivery include American military aid resumed following congressional approval, providing artillery ammunition, air defense missiles, HIMARS rockets, Bradley fighting vehicles, small arms. European Union commitments totaling billions, providing long-term security assistance, ammunition procurement, training programs, industrial support. F-16 deliveries continuing from multiple European nations, providing Ukraine increasing air power, countering Russian aviation. Domestically produced weapons, including long-range drones capable of striking targets hundreds of kilometers inside Russia, artillery systems, armored vehicles. The cumulative effect: Ukrainian forces entering spring with superior equipment, restored ammunition stockpiles, fresh personnel replacing casualties, and trained reserves ready deploying offensive operations. Meanwhile, Russia enters spring with depleted reserves, exhausted frontline units, degraded equipment, and casualties exceeding replacement capacity. According to British intelligence assessments, Russian artillery barrel wear, consequence of sustained high-tempo fires, degraded Russian artillery accuracy, while Ukrainian artillery maintained effectiveness through Western-supplied barrels and maintenance support. The spring thaw itself favors Ukraine. Russian logistics, already strained by extended supply lines, partisan attacks, Ukrainian long-range strikes, face additional challenges when dirt roads become impassable mud bogs. Ukrainian forces operating closer to supply bases with better developed road infrastructure maintain mobility, while Russian forces bog down literally and figuratively. Ukraine outplayed Russia so badly at the front line that Taras Chmut announced March 1st, 2026, "We've begun liberating more territories than losing. Russia lost the battle for winter." Russia's Pyrrhic offensive. 15 to 70 meters daily advance over 1 year, costing 1.2 million casualties. Pokrovsk siege, 365 days, 70 meters daily, 25 kilometers total gain. Compare this to Ukrainian Kharkiv counteroffensive, 3,000 square kilometers liberated in 1 week. Ukrainian paratroopers expelled Russian forces from Dnipropetrovsk region, proving Ukraine maintains offensive capability despite defensive posture. The combined drone, artillery, infantry operations Russia cannot counter demonstrated Ukrainian tactical superiority transcending numerical disadvantages. And it's getting worse for Moscow. Because spring approaches, bringing Western aid deliveries, terrain-favoring defenders, exhausted Russian forces lacking reserves. Every meter Russia captured during winter cost blood they cannot afford losing. Every Ukrainian position abandoned was strategic calculation, trading worthless terrain for Russian casualties until attrition collapses offensive capability. Russia lost the battle for winter. Now Ukraine positions for spring operations with restored combat power, while Russia enters thaw with depleted forces, degraded equipment, and casualty rates exceeding replacement capacity. That's not hard to watch. That's strategic genius bleeding superior enemy through attritional warfare until numerical advantage becomes operational liability. Can Russia sustain current casualty rates through spring offensive, or will attrition force operational pause? Drop your thoughts, subscribe for Frontline analysis. Thanks for watching.